Secondly is Basecamp. But I spoke about Basecamp, and this is the article. This is from the article Forbes, Forbes magazine or Forbes.com, and this is the premise behind the thinking was they looked at the stats of the average American. This is now in 2019, that the average American was 40% of Americans workers worked 50 hours a week, and 80-hour work week. It wasn't uncommon. So they would just work to the bone. And then they said, in particular industries like the financial services, healthcare routinely requires employees to work overtime, and so this is all in there. So all they know was a lifestyle. So he says, a doctor friend of this particular person said, all I know is my lifestyle is not sustainable. So on the hamster wheel, overworking to meet the needs, being, just going crazy. So Basecamp, so they looked at this entire story and they said, look, we need to shift our business. It can't always be about work. It has to be working at Basecamp. Surely we can be fruitful. We can enjoy working here, but it doesn't have to be an intense amount of hours. Let's be intentional about our time. Let's be focused over our time. And when we're working and when we're not working, let's enjoy that as well. So these are the benchmarks which they address. So the average of 40 hours a week, the company tries to average 40-hour weeks, decreasing it to just 32 hours in the summer. A 32-hour work week is such an anomaly if you look at it, because it's absolutely crazy. But imagine how efficient you would be knowing that you only had less time to complete all your work. So when you cut out on the unnecessary, the faffing around, and you just need to do it in that allotment of time, you get more done. So focused energy. Second one is, do not set year-end goals. That's crazy. The company explicitly refuses to set goals. No revenue goals, no margin goals, no customer targets. There's wisdom behind it, because no person or company can ever anticipate what's going to happen in the future. You can have ideas about it, but you're not God. So goals unnecessarily lock you in to a way of living and the way of focusing. A much more agile approach is focused on the short-term future. So not end of year, but maybe every 3 months or every 6 months. Next one, work in 6-week increments. That's 2 months, actually, if you think about it. The company operates on a 6-week schedule. Every 6 weeks or so, they decide what they'll be working on for the next 6 weeks. And that's the only plan they have. It's short, it's attainable, it's focused. They work in 1-hour blocks. So focused 1 hour. So work should be split into one full, uninterrupted hour with limited the number of fractured hours. And how often do we find ourselves that we have got a whole day of working and then we move our work out to different times? But if you focus for that hour, the rest of the time you have a bit more freer to decompress. And the next one, doing nothing is sometimes better than doing something. Not doing something that isn't worth doing is a wonderful way of spending your time. And that's what I was talking about earlier. Padding our list with things that we just don't need to be doing. It robs us of our energy, it robs us of our time, it robs us of our ability to dream and think. And also it's just a waste of time. So don't do it. Schedule office hours rather than enable employees to interrupt each other, work with incessant questions, pings, and calendar invites. The company enforces office hours. Office hours for experts are scheduled one day a week for 3 hours. Set a structured salary scale. Keep salaries equal for equal work and seniority, and to attract top talent. So consider paying employees top 10% of the market rate. So pay him the high end of the market rate. Offer benefits that benefit the employee. So obviously they look at benefits as a way to help people get away from work and lead to healthier, more interesting lives rather than drive them back into work. I need to work more in order to get these benefits. So Basecamp pays for vacations of employees who have been there for at least a year, up to $5,000, a 3-day weekend during the summer, 30-day fully paid sabbatical every 3 years, among many of these are among the many of the benefits. Keep it quiet. The company's work atmosphere is intentionally meant to mimic that of a library, so focus, keep quiet. Choose an optimal minimum, not the absolute maximum. So the founders quote Peter Drucker on this: there's nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. So there's nothing so useless as doing efficiently that which should not be done at all. So in other words, it's like you're so efficient at doing all these things which you shouldn't be doing, which wastes your energy, which you just don't do it. So being optimal at the minimal, at the little things you need to be doing, then being an absolute maximum, doing well of the many things that you need to do. And then the last two would be organize teams in threes. So working with three people, because let's say three is a wedge, and that's why it works. Three is a sharp point, three of you. And the odd number, this means there's no ties. So you can always deal with conflict and frustration. And the last way, default to no is not yes. When you say yes to one thing, you've spent that choice. The door is shut. On the whole host of alternative possibilities, the motto is much more limited. So, yeah, a no is not yes. So, I think it's fantastic principles that we could learn from Patagonia. I love the concept, and I fully agree with it. It's just that you eliminate the hustle. You're being focused in your attention. You being more productive or more fruitful in your efforts and your endeavors, or that whatever you do will potentially yield more because you are focused and not dealing with the unnecessary. And when you're done, you're done. You're done.